Hello and welcome back to First Steps. I'm Wrathful Shadows and today we'll be covering scanning. Now the first things for scanning that you'll need is a probe launcher and probes. Core scanner probes will do for scanning down sites. You need combat scanner probes to scan down ships, but today we're going to be covering sites. And the probe launcher, a core probe launcher one, will work fine. The skills that you will need for scanning are astrometrics, which is this one, and the higher you get it, the more probes you can have out in space at once. Then these skills modify how good you are at scanning. Range finding increases scan probe strength, which will allow you to scan down tougher sites easier. This astrometric pinpointing reduces deviation by 10%, which will allow you to find it faster. And acquisition will allow you to scan faster. 10% reduction in scan probe scan time per level. As you can see, I've got a new ship, Rifter, one of the best Mimitar frigates available in my opinion, with my probes fitted. So let's go out and do some scanning. After the undock, we'll warp to a different system because this is still a starting system, so it'll be full of training signatures with no real value to anybody apart from the tutorial. So to begin scanning, move that over there. Right, to begin scanning, you will launch your probes. How many depends on the astrometric skill. I think I can launch 4 or 5. After you launch probes, you will go into the map, which I'll show you when we've jumped, and the probes will come up here. Now probes do have a time limit of usually 1 hour and 10 minutes, so after that they'll begin to explode and you'll lose them forever. If you do warp off and forget that your probes are around, you can go back and click the reconnect to lost probes button there. Don't click that one, it will destroy all of your probes. So now we've jumped into the system, I will start dropping probes. You do have to wait for the cycle to end before you can launch any more probes. Which is slow and annoying, and the cycle doesn't auto repeat. Awesome, I can have 6 out at once. This is the map screen. This is the range of your probes. So since we haven't got a signature to scan down at the moment, just make sure they cover the entire system. You can move them around by the arrows. And the way that I like to position my probes, because in EVE scanning works on triangulation, I like to position mine by having one top, one bottom, side to side, and one there, in diagonal top left. Like that. Now it's covering the entire system. Might need to go out one. Shift and Alt are your best friends while scanning, because while holding Shift they all move together. And if you hold Alt, they will they will move in the direction together, like this. which is brilliant for quick scanning and making your life so much easier. Now I'm going to scan. Now with my skills it should take around about 10 seconds to complete a scan. Shown there. Now reducing the scan time will make this take a shorter amount of time. And there is one anomaly which we don't have to scan down because the signal strength is at 100. Looks like a combat site, which I should show you. These can be picked up without probes, using the standard scan without probes out. So warp to that one, might get horribly killed. You get a little bit of backstory when you warp to a site like this. So get rid of the map by clicking the map button. Turn on hardeners. And always remember to reload your probes after you finish with them. Oh, this site has already been cleared. So we should probably just warp to the next system and carry on trying to find something. Let's try Lustrovik. That can take a while to find anything. So in the meantime, should probably mention some more about skills that I forgot to mention in the video that covered skills. Skills do have an attributes, primary attributes and secondary. Now these correspond to your character attributes. Mine currently is 2020, 19, 2020. So this skill will train faster if my perception and memory are higher. Remapping is not the way to do it for certain, if you want to just train one skill up faster, because you can only do 2 and you can seriously mess up your character's training times if you run out of remaps. You get 1 more a year. I did this on another character, messed it up, everything was ridiculously slow for a whole year, which hurt my character's training horribly. But there is another way to do it, through the use of implants. When I find them. Now there are 2 types of implants, attribute enhancers and skill hardwiring. Skill hardwiring will increase your effectiveness in certain areas. If I just choose random armor implant, and they do have slots from 0 to 10. Actually, I think these start at 6 to 10. Or, yep, 6 to 10 on some of them. And these will increase your expertise and give you a direct bonus to the attribute. 1% bonus to hull HP in this case. Other implants, attribute enhancers, which go from 1 to 5, boost a specific character attribute, like a crystal alpha, which is horribly expensive. It will grant you a +3 to perception, because it's a crystal alpha. It has secondary effects, set effects as well. Most of them just boost a particular character attribute like perception, which will in turn make a skill whose primary or secondary attribute, that is perception, train faster. Alright, so now we're in Estia on the Lustrovik gate. I'll jump through and pop my probes again. You can't do it while gate cloaked. Just double click anywhere in space and stop ship again. and begin launching the probes. Scanning may seem awesome because you can find all of Eve's little hidden gems, but do it enough and it gets monumentally boring. Now this system is rather huge, so core probes can only go up to 32 AU, so this is as big as they get, so we might have to do a few scans. Note, word to the wise, that sites and all manner of things scannable can only spawn 8 AU around a planet. So since this system is so big, I'll move my probes down to 8 AU. They go down in half increments, so 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1, 0.5 and then 0.1 to 0.25. Move them into position again. Like so, and pick a planet, start scanning around it. Hopefully I'll be able to find a wormhole around here and jump in and show you all a bit about wormhole. Fingers crossed. Hallelujah. Right, now we have this signature here, which is split into two at the moment. This means that half your probes think it's there, and the other half think it's there. And the scan strength here is only 1.5. Before we can warp to anything, we need it to be at 100%. And to clear it up, just ignore that one. Shrink your probes down. Move them in so they're overlapping there. Move the arrows so your probes are over 1. I'm gonna take a guess and think that it's this one here. Make sure it's in the middle of the center of all of your probes. That's why the overlap is important. And click scan again. And we'll continue to narrow it down until it reads 100%. Shouldn't take too long, hopefully. If not, I may just put a cut in the middle of this video. And I was wrong, so it must be over here somewhere. Now usually I'd go up a probe size and scan again, but for the essence of quickness I'll try to find it like this, but it could horribly fail. Today I seem to be lucky. So continue narrowing it down. And I think we'll break here, and I'll bring the video back when I have narrowed it down to 100%. Welcome back. I've scanned it down, so now it's at 28%. I thought I'd bring it back here as it's changed. Now you can see the group type, and it's gone yellow to indicate that there are more information on it. The group is unknown. Now in HiSec that could mean a combat site, or it could mean a plex, which is the same as a combat site, or it could mean a wormhole. Now I'm hoping it's going to be a wormhole, as wormholes are, for me, one of the most exciting things in EVE. Wormhole space beats null for me. It's smaller, no politics, and completely and utterly unknown. You can't even see what's in system because there is no local channel. It'll just read 0 until somebody talks, then it'll read 1. So continue to scan it down. You can see I'm at 0.5 now. Scanning is needs to be very patient for scanning. Now you may have seen that I keep flicking over to a directional scan. That's because even in high sec I'm still paranoid. This will show me everything in a 360-degree scan for the maximum range that you can get. Everything that is around me corresponding to my overview settings. Now we've got it up to 89.1%. We can now see the type, and hallelujah, it is an unstable wormhole. One more scan and it should be at 100%, hopefully. If it doesn't go to 100%, you just need to jiggle the probes around, move them closer in, but not too close, or else the scanning anti-cheat system kicks in and it will become a big red sphere, and you'll need to start scanning again until it's down to 100%. Hallelujah. Now your warp 2, I'm going to go within 0 because I'll be on the high sec side so nothing can kill me. Again, remember to recover your probes. Wormholes come in several different flavours. One could be from this system to another high sec system, from a high sec system to a low sec system, to a null, or to one of the 6 classes of wormhole system. Very rare to get anything like a class 4, and absolutely impossible to get anything class 5 or 6 from high sec. This one you can tell usually by the colouring that this one can either be a class 1 or a class 2 wormhole. I think it's a class 2, as class 1s usually have a green splodge at the top here, whereas this one's nice and blue with a green splodge in the bottom right. Always bookmark things, so right click, actually it's better to right click on the actual wormhole itself, save the location, put it in something that you'll be able to remember, like wormhole C2, and submit it. Now with wormholes, you can be within 5,000 meters to jump, and you'll get this pop-up, the unknown. Basically, if you go through here, it's considered 0 space. You can be shot at, killed, no repercussions. And luckily for me, there isn't a gate camp on this side. Now this is where D-scan comes in real handy. Apparently this one's for sale. If I just put my D-scan back to rights. Now in wormholes, D-scan is definitely your best friend. Okay, if I right click, there are no gates, no nothing. You warp away from the wormhole without bookmarking it, and you have to scan it down again. If you don't have probes, you're pretty much lost. Now, at the moment there doesn't seem to be any other ships around. And if I just show you what I was on about with the local. So, no channel list, doesn't even display myself. But other channels still function. Sadly, Rookie Help still functions. And so does Corp. Now to find anything in a wormhole, you need to launch probes and scan it down again. I only scanned down a few sites. as scanning is immensely boring. And by now you should have the basics of probing. Save the wormhole before I warp away and completely forget about it. Now there is a very, very high possibility that I'll be jumped and shot at while scanning, because I'm not cloaked. Everybody can see I'm in system if they're using their D-scan properly. Yes, probes come up on D-scan. So there is a very, very high chance that I could be jumped, shot, killed, murdered horribly. Just put my hardener on, just to mitigate any incoming damage if I do get shot at. Just like before, make sure you've got the whole system. This system's small enough so that I can scan it with a 30 AU, 32 AU. Scan, see if there's anything in here all at once. And wow, this hole must be really abandoned. These are the most profitable sites to do in EVE, in my opinion. This wormhole has a load of them, so this really must be abandoned wormhole, and lots of other signatures. Now this is not very common to see all of this, and that is a lot of money sitting right there in the sites. So since we know what those are, should ignore them. I like to arrange it by signal strength, strongest at the bottom. So if we go for ZXZ, hopefully it's not our wormhole that we've just come through. And we'll quickly scan it down, see what it is. In wormholes, you can get gravimetric sites, which are for mining, magnemetric sites, which are combat, and to increase your money yield, you will need either an analyzer or a code breaker to access the floating cans that are in the site. Radars, same as a mag, but you'll need a code breaker for a mag site. Since JXZ seems to want to be scanned down more, we'll switch to that one. And you can also get LiDAR sites, which are for mining again, but you can mine gas instead of actual rocks, which is not much better, still boring. But certain types of gas can be worth quite a bit of ISK. And you can also get unknown signatures, just like HiSec, but unlike HiSec, in wormholes, an unknown is definitely another wormhole. You cannot get HiSec plexes in wormholes, or any plex whatsoever in a wormhole. The only combat sites that are scanned down are magnemetric and radar sites. And then obviously you get the normal sites, which you can pick up without probes, again, just by clicking the scan button with no probes out. Now, I won't actually run any of these sites because they will tear my little rifter to shreds, and it'll be horrible and I'll die. Might be funny, still horrible. So, and generally in wormholes there will be a wormhole effect. If you go to the in-game browser, which can be accessed by the big E, and going down to accessories and browser, I'm just going to put it on my Neocom. If you click that, there are a few wormhole sites. The one that I like to use is evi, which is www.evi.com. Or not. Google is my friend. I'll put a link to these in the description. Oh, it was doubly. So if you go to evi, and it's automatically trusted, it will tell you all about, or it should tell you all about the system that you're currently in. If I just refresh it. There we go. System name, J150853. J150853. There was NPCs killed here within the last, move your mouse, 15 hours. It has a class 2 system, static, that will always be around. It won't lead to the same system, but it will always lead to another class 2 system. And a low sec, which is exactly the same except it leads always to a low sec system. They can be collapsed for better systems, and it will always be a different system. When collapsing there are two ways to collapse wormholes. You can either wait it out and it will collapse on its own after a while, or you can put ships through it to reduce the mass on the wormhole. Once the mass hits 0, the wormhole will collapse no matter what side you're on. So if you're living in a wormhole and your static sucks, collapsing a wormhole is definitely a good way to go to get something else to do. Now JXZ looks to be a radar, so I'll continue to scan this one down. Radars are very, very bright, and they have usually 2 pockets of gas to mine. A gravimetric looks like your standard asteroid belt, and combat sites look like mostly lasers, missiles and death. So hopefully I'll be able to show you a radar site if I hurry up and scan this down quick enough. Now the D-scan in wormholes, like I said before, is definitely your best friend. It works on your overview settings, which I actually have a file for, which I'll upload later. And you can basically customize what comes up on here. You can have more than one tab. At the moment I'm working off the standard default tab. I'll see if I can add a tab. Like so. Type in a label. Like combat. And then it will appear there. It will take a general setting first. Eve comes with a few default ones. So now it's PvP. And it will show different things up on the overview on the scan now. Only the 2 control towers, which are offline in here. If I switch back to default, shows 2 small standard anchored containers. Yes, this wormhole indeed looks to be abandoned. Usually when people say moved out, they mean kicked out by somebody else who wants their wormhole more. So now if we warp to the radar site, and there's type, this one's a token, not as good as a standard or a rarefied. Cover my probes again, get rid of the map. Also, descan does have a set range, so it can change depending where you are in the system. But I don't think I'll be jumped here today. Hopefully. Because you can never tell with a wormhole. Like I said, gas sites horribly bright. Now, according to the overview, there isn't anything here. But if I load up a mining tab, still doesn't like gas cloak. So now, if I zoom out a bit, you can see that that looks different, and that looks different from everything else. These are mineable gas clouds. And if I can find an overview tab that shows them, there we go. All is always a good option for when you can't find something. They have different classifications, different types rather. C70, and in this one C60. Different types of gas do different things, so they're worth more or less. And that's about it for gas sites. After mining or being here for a while, sleepers will spawn and try to kill you. As is with most things in EVE, no reward without risk. I think I'll end the video here for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, give me a comment in the section below, and click subscribe if you want more.